Destiny is not a destination, but rather a journey that continues. I want you to hear that. Destiny is not a destination, but rather a journey that continues. Regardless of how you start out, where you end up is your choice if you choose to stay. If not careful, my sisters and brothers, your past can become an excuse if you choose not to change your perspective. Israel started out in bondage and chose to stay there even after being liberated. That's a horrible position, to be free and not know it. A few months ago, my brother and I, well, a few years ago, my brother and I was working out with a cousin of ours who been locked up for 26 years. My brother and I, Milton, we had a pretty intense workout, I thought. And so when my cousin got out of prison, he called me up and said, "Cuz, want to work out?" I said, "Sure." I called my brother. We went down to LA Fitness and we began to work out. And I grabbed my 45s and began my warm up. He grabbed 90 on each side. He began to pump the weights, curling. You know, and I'm like, I know my limitations. I ain't got nothing to prove. So we just worked out a little weights, and he's sweating. And every now and then he would go and get some water and come back real fast and look around and start pumping some more weight. And so now we lay on the bench and we're doing, well, that's very difficult, and you gotta have very, a little amount of weight. We get our little 25 puts, the 45s, and then the 90s. Well, we know he had 3 plates. And get up, go some more water, come back, he's looking around. My brother said, "Mike, you do know you free." We're at LA Fitness. You don't have to do it like that. Free, but not knowing you're free can have you doing some unnecessary things. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is what? Liberty. That's not talking about an atmosphere. That's talking about you as an individual. That affects the atmosphere. Where if God lives in you, there should be liberty. Freedom. Are you with me? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's what? Liberty. That's only if you choose to be free. Hear this. God dropped this in me and it just rattled me. He said, freedom doesn't mean to be free if your mind is still in bondage. Your mind is the warden of your disposition that determines the fate of your condition, as with a prisoner. Prison doesn't require bars if you're living in bondage. Prison does not require bars if you're living in bondage. Some of us today wake up in prison every day. Liberty, but in prison. Shouting, but in prison. Dancing, but in prison. Hugging everybody else, encouraging others, but still in prison. Tears behind the smile, because although I look free, I'm still in prison. Can't see the orange uniform, but I'm in prison. Yeah. You don't tell me when to come and go, but I'm still in prison. Why? What's causing you to limit yourself behind bars in your present condition? And even worse, the gates are open, but you won't even walk out to the yard and get a glimpse of fresh air. Something is causing you to feel okay where you are. And we consistently fool each other on a weekly basis, knowing that I'm not where I want to be. Somebody say prison. Pretty much, God told me to tell you, The reason why many of us are in prison is because of the choices we made. Mm-hmm. You already made a decision even if you hadn't.
That's right.
You made a decision not to do anything. Many of us are in prison because the choice that we made is to stay in the consequences of our choices of the past. And past it's not determined in the length of tenure, but the past can be what happened before you came to church today. Never make a permanent decision in a temporary place. Never allow your flesh to get the best of you and cause you to get in a deeper situation when you know that this too ain't gonna last. Listen, let me tell you something. When you believe in yourself, let me tell you what happens. You know without a shadow of doubt that this is just a season. But I got enough in me and enough knowledge in me and enough God in me to know that in due season I will reap if I faint not. If God brought me out of that, he can bring me out of this. I'm too smart to know that God has good credit with me and that if you're allowing this to happen, it's got to work out for my good.
Yes. That's right. Yes.
Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir.
So it's just simply, this is so deep to me. In the wilderness, God gave the first commandment to Israel in Exodus 20:3. You can write it down. He said, watch this, y'all. Watch this. He says, thou shalt have no other what? Gods what? Before me. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. It was the first of the 10 commandments. Why was this the first commandment? Because, hear me, y'all, everything in life is an idol of worship that has the propensity of distracting us from God, the sustainer of our lives. Yes. Israel, while under press, while in that temporary place, the first thing they did was try to find some idols to worship because God, you were taking too long. While the preacher was up in the wilderness creating idols to worship until the preacher comes back on Sunday to give a word that perhaps can't even penetrate what you created.
Right.
Somebody said, idol God. Understand instinctively, watch this out. We are created to worship. Created in the image of God. We're going to worship something. It's only by nature that we worship and we adore and we praise things. I worship my brother. I worship my wife. I worship you. I worship my job. In other words, I appreciate those little gods that God allows me to embrace. Watch this. Exodus 22:3. This is what he says. Right? If God allows us to worship, he's basically saying, I'm not trying to take away the things you appreciate. But what I'm saying is, you cannot put those things before me. Right. Any little G that you give more attention to than you do God, big G, it has become your idol. Even in our resources. What you spend the most money on is where your heart is. Where your treasure is, there will your what? Heart be also. We have to recognize the fact, watch this, it's so deep, that our ailments can become our God. Do you know adversity can become your God so much so that you give it more attention than God? The enemy would have it that you don't even recognize that worry has become your God. Jesus. All night, worrying. Get up in the morning, worrying. All day long, worrying. Gave God a 5-minute prayer, but worrying. It's always too late and it never shows up on time.
That's right.
So worry has become your God. Frustration has become your God. It's getting all of your attention, and God is saying, what are you doing? I told you to be still. This battle does not belong to you. Why are you trying to figure it out? And I've already worked it out. I just need you to keep working on you, that you not give up in the process. This ain't the devil. This is me building your character. Worried about stuff, watch this, you can't change. The stuff you can change, work at it. But then you have to turn over to God, let God do the rest. God is a beast.
Yes, it is.
You, by yourself, well, you're the reason why you're in this situation. So it behooves you to go get some knowledge from somebody else that got out of what you've been in, what you're in. Yes. I know I messed up, but I do know your gracious God.
That's right.
That covers me with your grace. And I need some mercy. Yes. Have mercy. I'm wrong. You need to be praying for some mercy. Yes. That's okay. Mercy, God. Have mercy. Have mercy. I'm not perfect. I have to weigh my good and my bad. Ooh. We have to get to a place that the first choice I must make is understanding that anytime I go before God, I'm going before him with a merciful spirit. The first choice. And God help me make the right choice in this situation. We cannot allow what the enemy uses to get us off of God being our Redeemer, our Sustainer. And these types of things are called frustration, sickness, shame, fear, complaining, as if Israel, like they were in the wilderness, always complaining about where they were and complaining about actually where they were, but yet wishing they were where they were. That is so crazy. At least he paid the bills. You just don't go back to your vomit. It's a choice. You don't fall back. No, you choose to go back. Are you going to continue to walk and embrace the curse that has perpetuated throughout your family? Are you going to be the next alcoholic, the next whoremonger? Are you going to be the next one with diabetes because of bad diet? Huh? You want a better life, better quality of life? You got to make some decisions that are contrary to what your forefathers did, because what they did, they worked with what they had. And we got better, I need some folk in it, we got better opportunity now. Compromise your identity with your situation and continue to be a statistic in society. I'd rather die trying than to sit here and know I'm going to die. I need some folk in here that said today I'm going to make a choice. Like what Joshua said, serve a God who leads and guides me and lets me know that it's going to be all right. Close your eyes for a moment. I want you to see yourself. I want you to see yourself where you desire to be. See it. Don't be afraid. The enemy has camouflaged your mind with such fear that you can't even see what God intends. You will not go under. It's your choice. You will not drown. It's your choice. You will not lose out. It's your choice. Fight for what you believe. God is here, and he has the answer. You choose, he says. You choose. I gotta let this light shine in the midst of darkness. If that's you this morning, I want all of us to stand to our feet. Foreclosure, I choose you. Over my repo, I choose you.